Hi, my name is Marla Schechter. I'm a U.S. immigration lawyer specializing in business and family immigration. And I thought I'd talk to you today about H-1B visas. As many of you know, H-1Bs are a highly desired visa type for people coming into the United States to work for U.S. employers. Okay, I thought we'd go over the three main requirements of an H-1B, and so for many people, they can watch this and determine just based on this video whether or not they may be eligible. Okay, and I say maybe because whether or not you actually are can be a much longer conversation with an immigration lawyer. This will at least give you an idea of eligibility. Okay, first requirement is that the job actually be in an occupation that requires the individual to have a bachelor's degree. Okay, so it's a specialty occupation. That's what specialty occupation means. It means it's a type of job that would generally require someone to have at least a bachelor level degree. Okay, whether or not someone has one, we'll get into in a moment. That may not be required. That is not required, in fact. But it's the kind of job where people generally do have such degrees. So there are often, there are many different types of positions that would fall under an H-1B. Obviously, many of them clearly need a bachelor's degree, a doctor, lawyer, engineer. Occupations like that, obviously, you need to have at least a bachelor's and generally higher, of course, a master's or some sort of doctorate degree. However, there are many business occupations, like, for example, director of marketing, director of sales, which many people don't have degrees and they still occupy those positions. And USCIS has determined in many cases, now again, depending on what the actual job description is, you have to be careful with how that's worded, but in many cases, those are jobs that are recognized to be H-1B worthy or specialty occupations. Okay, so that's the first requirement. You have to look at what the job requires, and there's tons of information out there on the internet as to what employers are looking for when they hire someone into a senior sales director or VP of sales, VP of marketing. What are employers generally looking for to fill those occupations? So that's the first thing. Secondly, it has to. Now we're looking at the specific candidate. Does that person have a bachelor's degree or the equivalent? Okay, what type of bachelor's degree are you looking for? Well, it has to be something in a related field. You can't just be any bachelor's degree. You can't have a bachelor's degree in political science and claim that that prepared you to be an engineer. Obviously, that's not going to work. So you have to draw a close nexus between what was studied and what the job duties are. Okay, so if it's a close match, you're going to work in the computer field and you have a bachelor's degree in computer science, then it's a perfect fit and not much else needs to be explained. However, the applicant rather, will need to get an equivalency done. If the degree is a foreign degree, then it has to be evaluated as the equivalent of a U.S. bachelor's degree. Okay. If someone only had a 3-year degree and got a bachelor's, but you actually in the United States you need to have 4 years of degree, so usually they can make up for that final missing year of education with at least 3 years of work experience. Okay, so there is that general equivalency that if you don't have years of college, say you have no years of college at all, 12 years. So there's 3 years of work experience for every missing year of college. So a total of 12 years of college would be enough in many cases to be the equivalent in USCIS parlance to a bachelor's degree. Okay, so that's pretty much what you're looking at there. Sometimes a complicated equation and degree and work experience evaluation companies can help sort that out. Third requirement is that the occupant be paid by the employer the prevailing wage in the occupation in the specific area where the candidate will be working. Okay. Again, there are lots of job and wage surveys out there online. The Department of Labor puts one out that is in most cases relied upon, but sometimes other wage surveys also can be used, which can show exactly how much in different skill categories. So different wage levels depending on the level of autonomy in the position and how recently the individual graduated and how much responsibility they have. Those are all factors that go into determining what wage someone needs to be paid. Okay, so just in summation again, real quick, you look at the job itself. It has to be the type of job that usually requires a bachelor's degree. Second, you've got the applicant. The applicant has to have the equivalent of a bachelor's degree or a bachelor's. Third, the applicant has to be paid a prevailing wage, the prevailing wage in the industry in the area. So that's just a quick rundown of the three basic eligibility requirements relevant to H-1B visas. Obviously, when you go and talk to an attorney, they're going to have to do a more complete case evaluation to determine eligibility. That will give you a good starting point. Okay, so good luck in H-1B season.